And here it is, the video review finally. I've been waiting for this guy, and then everybody started getting there. It's like weeks ahead of me, and it just made it worse. But here it is, F-4 Phantom from TFC, the first member of the Uranos combiner, which is, of course, SUPERION. There's a package of the side art. There's pictures of him in the back. This is their Fireflight analog from their SUPERION, and it looks really cool. They've been releasing finally some grayscale pics. Well, I guess Phantom and Eagle are in color because those prototypes or those figures are out or about to come out. But they've been releasing some grayscale pics of SUPERION combined, or Uranos combined. And he looks really cool. Some people have some problems with the proportions, and they're not perfect, but I think he's going to make a nice display counterpart to Hercules, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I think there's probably going to be, like there always is, when people have them in hand, you're going to find a few alternate transformations and things that make him look a little better. So I'm not too sussed at this point. I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, here he is in the package, and we'll go ahead and crack this open here. I've already opened it once. So there's my thoughts. And inside, you got the tray. You got the little baggie. And inside the baggie, there is... actually, I'll go ahead and open this up because it's kind of neat. You get the tech spec card, which is always nice. Just the little powers card, just like you did with Hercules. You get the instruction sheet, which has, there's again the box art right there. The instructions from jet to robot here, and then from jet to limb. So you kind of have to figure out jet mode on your own. It's really not that hard. Those instructions, but then you also get a little fold-out mini poster of the Phantom box art, which is kind of cool. Just down here, and then the Uranos logo at the top. So yeah, it's just that's just something a neat little addition that I thought was cool in the set. Everything else is in the plastic tray. They come twist tied in. You can see I've already untwist tied them and gotten them out and played with them and all that good stuff. I just kind of stuck these back in to hold them in place for the opening and a couple pictures. So you pop him out. Get him untangled from there. Put the plastic away. There's also over here the fist. If we can get him out of here. And again, it's the same basic design as the Hercules fist with the notches and everything, but different fingers, like very obviously structural differences, but overall the same basic design as that. And then two missile pods here, which we're going to have to leave behind and pop out. So, let me put that off to the side. So normally I would start something off in vehicle mode and turn them into robot mode. But since this way, like turning him into jet mode and then turning him into a limb mode is easiest, I figured we'll just go ahead and show him from the package all the way through the different modes. Now you can take these missile pods, you can plug them into his arms if you so choose, just like that. The fist does not store on him the way it did on like Hercules, on Structor, Exgraver, and Neckbreaker. So there's that. But and it comes with the fins down here, which is not how it's supposed to be for robot mode. They are supposed to be collapsed up like you could on the original G1 figures. And basically how you do this is you take this and you fold this in. And when you get right about here, it gets a little bit thinner, which is not the end of the world. You just kind of got to squeeze it past that ridge there and then fold it up like this. And then you can see there's a couple pegs here on the back that peg into the front, if you get it lined up properly. There we go. And then this piece just sits up here on his back, and there he is in robot mode. Again, the feet are on little ball joint hinges down here, so if one's pushed a little further down, he may sit a little crooked, but it's just a matter of adjusting the feet down here. Come here, you. Also, the legs collapse, so one leg, that leg wasn't extended all the way. So there he is in robot mode. And size-wise, okay, let's see, actually I can just dig one out here. Here is... since I can get him easily, War for Cybertron Megatron, the Deluxe. So he's a little bigger than a Deluxe, a little smaller than a Voyager. He's got a decent-sized plane mode and a decent-sized limb mode. His robot mode, like I said, he's not huge, but he's roughly on par with the Hercules bots, size-wise. A little skinnier overall. Now these fins, you can fold them up if you want. If you feel like the upper arms are too skinny, you can fold them down and kind of help fill in that space, but The shoulder pads you can pretty much adjust however you see fit. I like to have them flipped up a little bit, but that's my personal preference. You can also, if you don't want these here, there are you can use the extra spot on the legs here and plug them in right there, just like that, and they can just hide there behind the legs. So you've got a couple options for those missile pods as well. Go ahead and take those off. The wings, again, the wings are able to tab and peg off if you don't want them in robot mode, but they do fold up fairly nicely along the legs. A little kibbly, but nothing horrible. Again, reminiscent of, I like how these collapse like the old G1 toys did. I think that's cool. The head can flip up a little bit, and that's mostly just to facilitate access to the combiner joint, which we'll get to later. He does have double hinged shoulders here, a swivel, a hinge elbow. The wrists flip out on the swivel here, but they don't have any rotation on them. He does have a waist swivel, ratchet hips. Mine squeaks on this side, and that's not an issue like it was with heavy labor. All that is the peg going into here is just a little bit too big for the circular hole, so it squeaks. That will go away over time if you want to. Some people have taken this all apart and put some grease in there, which is also valid, but this is not damaging your figure the way it was on heavy labor. Everything in there is fine. It just squeaks a little bit where the joint rubs as it goes into the crotch. There is a bicep or a thigh swivel, hinge knees. There's no swivel there at the knee. You can flip these down if you want to, but they're vents, but I like to keep them up. And then, like I said, the foot is on a hinge and a ball joint here. So you can hinge down, and it's also on a ball joint for movement purposes. So you can get some pretty stable poses out of him no matter how you stand his legs. And it's just a matter of getting those feet in the right position. You can see I wiggled the wing off by playing with it. So that's his robot mode. To get into jet mode, turn his head around like this. You can go ahead and pop these apart and take the cockpit and just bring it down over his head like that. With his head turned around, it hides right up in there. Go ahead and unpeg this and slide this all the way out like this, just to get that up out of the way. The wings you flip down. And actually, if you want to peg them off, I'll do one side differently, just to show you the different ways you can do it. If you want to go ahead and pop one off, you can. Flip out the wingtip. Flip out the wingtip. Although, again, it's up to you how you want to. See, they painted this on both sides of this piece, but not the front part. I don't know why. But yeah, and then you just peg the legs together like that. You want to go ahead and take the feet. I'm not sure. You can do this either way. You can, if you want, just flip the feet straight up like that. I like to turn them around because of that ball joint and fold them down so the detailed part is facing out. But it's really entirely up to you how you want to do it. And then you flip the fin down. And I usually just push it up so the foot meets the fin or the vent right here. But again, you can, because of that joint, you can, if you have a different preference, you can do it any way you want. As long as you just flip the feet up so they're flat up against the body and flip the vent down, you're good. You can even push this up a little bit so the vent kind of goes into that groove a little bit. Again, it doesn't affect anything really. Everything sits where it normally would. It's just a matter of that positioning. So anyway, enough about that. And you take this, take these vents, fold them up along. You can see the intakes are then exposed up here on the front of the plane. Like that. Take the hand, fold it in like that. Fold this in like this. Make sure it fits in that groove properly. And same over here. And then with this up, you want to take the legs and collapse them. Just push them forward until they come all the way up. Right there. And then this piece comes down to fill in that gap. Just like that. And then this piece you're going to take right here, flip it, and then again, there's a tab here and a peg hole here, and you just snap that on. There we go. Get it lined up properly and snap that right in like that. The wing, again, if you have it, you should have flipped it around a bit like that right there, but you can flip it around, and then there's a tab here on the front of the wing that goes right into the arm here, and then the arm's and the wing's in place, and it's locked in very securely. And again, if you took the wing off, you saw it just pop off over here. You can swing that down and around as you, like I said, you could have this swung down around like this as you peg this in and then just swing it up. Or if you pop the wing off, you can just plug it in after the fact. But tab that on, and then bring this up, peg it into the arm. Now on a F-4 Phantom like this, the wingtip should angle slightly up like that. I don't know if I have the exact angle, but they do angle up a little bit. I used to be really good. I grew up in the Air Force, so I used to be really good at identifying planes. Like I used to be able to tell you just by the sound of it, not just what kind of airplane. Like that's a fighter or that's a prop plane. Like I could tell you exactly what kind of airplane, both military and commercial jet, was flying over our house at any given moment because I just got used to hearing all the sounds of them, from like A-10 Warthogs and B-52s and KC-10s and DC-10s and T-37s and F-15s. It was kind of cool. I can't do that as well anymore. But then the tail fin, you just bring this down, and then you see there's a couple of these little bridges go right in here, and then there's a couple pegs, and you just tab that right in. And there is the jet mode. And it's a really nice looking jet. The intakes here don't sit quite flush with the cockpit, which is, I think, is kind of what these panels are for, to kind of blend them in a little bit. But I like it. I like it a lot. I'm considering putting some Autobot symbols on here. I think it'd be nice. You've got the missiles here that generally sit right in here, and again, you can flip them. I like to do them like this, so they kind of stick out about the same on both the front and back of the wing. They're kind of centered on the wing. You can plug them around like this so they stick out a little bit further. But when you do that, you can kind of see into the hollow bits on them. So it's up to you how you want to set the missiles. I have done one thing. There are some landing gear under here that just flip down. And the missiles, as is, this stock, cause the plane to not be able to sit on the wheels. Because when you push them in, the length of these posts, he said oddly, cause these to stick out about like that. You can see that little gap there between the ridge of the top of the peg hole and the actual ridge of the missile. And so I just trimmed off a little bit off the end of this post so you can push that in and sit flush. And that really makes the difference between whether it sits flat on its wheels or gets raised up a little bit off them. You can see, I don't know if you can see here, but there is clearance there, but it's just a teensy bit. So, and you can still use them in all the holes. It doesn't affect pegging into anything. So it's maybe worth doing. It's up to you. But that's something I did. So yeah. And there's jet. Again, you can kind of see some stuff underneath, but not bad. And you can see the missiles are in two different positions right now. You can peg them in here, but only with the wheels up and only with them facing forward. Because if you turn them around the other way, I mean, like, I guess you can peg them in the other way, but like this ridge right here in front of the post hits the ridge for the landing gear, and it doesn't. You can kind of see it like right there. It's stuck and it doesn't peg in all the way. But it's up to you. You can have it in that position as well. Originally, there were some cluster missiles that attached under here that were not included for whatever reason in the final product. Could have been costed out. I don't know. But yeah. So take those off, and to get to limb mode, it's fairly simple. Again, you just bring these up like this, collapse it into there. You're basically doing pretty much like the G1. You just bring this up and collapse these two together like this. You can turn his head. Some people complained about the visible head, but I find if you turn his head like that and then just kind of fold these over it, it's not really visible from any angle except for maybe right there. You can kind of see it. But yeah, just turn the head, fold it in, plug these together. Actually, before you do that, you want to lift the head up. You want to take this chest piece, flip it down, and then flip that down so it's out. Fold the head down like that. Also, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4. They give you 4 screw covers. The ones that are just kind of flat, rounded tip ones go in the front. There's some that are kind of angle and then angle out. They look a little different shape. You'll know when you see them. And those plug in like that with the flat end towards the body of the plane. And they cover the 4 screws back here, which I thought was kind of a nice little add-on bit. So yeah, once you get that done, unpeg the wings from the arms. Or you can just, again, untab them off the side. But you want to flip just the outer panel up right here, which lets you extend the lower half of the jet. And then the wings fold up onto the jet itself. Rotate it so they've showed it both ways. Oh, here, you want to do this. You want to have this up like this. So fold that piece up onto the back like it was in robot mode, this little panel right here. They've shown it this way or rotating around this way. It's really up to you, whichever one you want to use. I think you get a little bit more range of motion. I think it just looks a little better having the smooth part of the fuselage up here. And then the wings fold up like this. You split the legs and then peg in the hand, just like on Hercules. It kind of pegs just right in there. Rotate it out. And then peg it back together. Okay. Like that. And you can rotate it out, pose the hand, and there he is in limb mode. And again, it's up to you. If you want to bring it all the way down, you get a couple joints in the elbow. You can half collapse the legs and make it look a little bit more like a complete arm without having just the legs stick it out, making the skinniness of the legs show up. So, I mean, again, you've got some own personalization options depending on how you choose to display him. Now, these, they don't really tell you where these go. You can, if you want, peg them onto here, which I think looks a little silly on the arms. Like that. What I like to do is you can peg them in right here on the, actually this way, flip them around this way, on the wings. Yeah, come on, go in. There we go. So they're pointing down. And then you can kind of rotate the wings up to fill in the arm, and then have them just kind of sit there in that groove on the fuselage. And I think that looks, I like the look of that. It gives them the missiles as if they were arm weapons, and it helps fill in a little bit of that arm gap. And so it kind of looks like he's got some arm-mounted blasters, and it stores them, and you don't have to worry about where those missile pods go in arm mode. So that's something there. Now, arm mode, you know, I know everybody's been... You've probably already seen it in other video reviews, because if you're interested in this guy, you've probably already seen some other reviews of him. But, you know, here we go. Let's get Hercules in on this. There he is, Hercules. And so if you want to see just a comparison of the arm, there he is. So you can see it roughly the same size, limb mode. And again, if you extend the arm, it'll be a little longer. And it looks like from the comparison shots they've released already of the grayscale Uranus with Hercules, it looks like he's going to be a little bit taller, like he's going to maybe come up to about, the top of Superion's head is about here. So a little bit bigger than Hercules, which I know some people have had some issue with. It doesn't bother me so much because the pictures make them look really awesome together. And chances are, if you've got them fighting on your bookcase, you're not really going to notice that. And then just to show off again the arm, we'll go ahead and, if we can do this without busting them all apart, pop X-Graver off of Hercules here, because they use the same connector joints on the two figures. So we'll go ahead and we'll pop Phantom here onto Hercules just to show it off a little bit. So yeah, it looks a little silly, but just to get an idea of how he'll look as an arm, there you go. So yep, there it is, the first of the new TFC SUPERION figures, F-4 Phantom. Alright, so one thing I did forget to show, real quick, I meant to mention it in my video review, and then I got to the end and I just stopped. It's entirely possible, we've seen no evidence of such, but there is the possibility that these guys, or at least SUPERION, might well function as a Scramble City type of combiner. So far we've only seen the figures in their respective positions, with Fireflight as the right arm, and Air Raid as the right leg, and Skydive, I think, Skydive and Slingshot as the left leg and arm respectively, and Silverbolt in the center. Now Silverbolt obviously is always going to be the base bot, and again I'm using their G1 names versus that. But dinking around and looking at pictures, the feet actually on this one are different. They're also not integrated into the figure, and the feet attach by the same type of peg, snapped between the legs on Eagle and Falcon. So it's entirely possible that with the right transformation... Now, a lot of it depends on how the knee joint in Silverbolt in combined mode works, because if you do it the way I'm thinking, you would not have a... you wouldn't be able to bend the knee backwards, because what I'm thinking is this, because you can flip the head back here and put this up, flip this up. There might be a way, you'll bring this down to the back. And then, and also too, if you flip this, rotate this arm around, plug this back in. Come on, you worked earlier. Oh man, bring this out. Maybe we'll bring this out a little bit. Like I said, the right way. You can kind of simulate the same positioning on this guy as Eagle and the other one, and Falcon. So you could plug the leg in here. You could conceivably tab the foot in here, since it uses the same peg. Flip the wings back. It's entirely possible, again, if there's a knee in Silverbolt, although again it may be blocked by the head, but if you're not going to pose him, you just want him to stand straight, it may be very well be possible to make, plug the foot in here, like that, to make the limb modes bots, since they have a similar transformation, into legs and vice versa. Do I know that for sure? No, I do not. It is entirely a theory, but yeah, with the fist sticking out here, plug the missiles in into the hands, like I said, it's possible. We've seen no news of that. It's entirely something I was just fiddling with on my own the other day. May or may not be doable, but I think it'd be cool if it is. It's definitely something I will look into once Eagle comes out. But yeah, just a little addendum. Maybe possible Scramble City style combiner for Uranus. I doubt it. We've only seen him in one configuration. That's probably it. Especially with this head, the fact that it doesn't go any further back than that would block any knee movement in the leg. But it's close enough that it's worth mentioning. So yeah, there you go.